I mean, it's the hottest thing going on right now. But before they do that, I want to introduce to some of you and to remind others of you who already know about Black Life Texas and this particular paper for this week has a great stories on Dr. Martin Luther King. So you better get to the local HEB or wherever they have our paper and get your copy of it. And I want to thank Kyle Booker for putting this paper out. It's one of the best Black newspapers in the country today, right out of San Antonio.
It can also be found at gyms.
And gyms, okay, and gyms. And so you never see Carl on the screen, but let me tell you, this brother is doing yeoman's work, not only for Black people in San Antonio, but for Black people nationwide. And if you've never seen a copy of the Black Book Directory, you need to contact Carl Booker at Avista Products and ask him about the Black Book Directory.
Hey, Fred, how about we tie Carl up one time?
Put him on?
Both his feet and his hands.
And put him on.
Put some tape on his mouth, and the only time we let him talk is when we take the tape off.
Yeah. I think it's safe to say Carl, borderline genius when it comes to communications and media. And everyone in San Antonio should be proud of this brother. I know I am, and everybody up here right here, we're proud of him. And believe me, there would be no contemporary Black voices if it wasn't for Carl Booker. So,
Carl's the type of guy you got to dig up. It's like gold, man. You got to dig him up.
You got to get around all the thorns to get to the rose.
You ain't going to find him unless you dig him up.
See, they missed each other.
So remember, Black Life Texas, special edition on Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Great stories in here about Dr. King. So make sure you go to HEB or to gyms or some of the churches. Resurrection Baptist Church. Go to Resurrection, you get a copy of. And Nobel Group, also out in Civilo. They have the newspaper magazine. So make sure you get your copy this time. All right, hot topic. I would turn it over to Dr. Chadwell because this is something she and Chris really wanted to do, and that's this Katt Williams thing. So Sharon?
So as everybody knows, Katt Williams did an interview with Shannon Sharpe, and it not only put the internet on fire, it actually blew up the internet because the last time I had checked on it, it might have changed. It was at 37, close to 38 million views. And so it was a 2 hour, 46-minute interview. Now, there's all kind of ways of looking at this interview. Was it the best thing that could have been done? Was it the right thing that could have been done? But I want to take away the idea that there was some nuggets that we as a Black community can take away from the interview. Not necessarily so much on the gossip piece, but there are some pieces in there as we as Black Americans can take away from it. So before I go any further, I'm going to ask Chris, what were your lessons learned?
I thought it was very commendable that, there were a number of things, but I thought it was very commendable that he's raising 7 adopted children.
No, actually 6. He has 7 kids. One is his, and he adopted 6.
Okay, he adopted 6. Regardless, he's saying because of the way he was brought up and different things like that, I think he said his father or his family were Seventh-day Adventists. So the way he was brought up, he said he felt what better way to kind of give back than to help these kids who were unfortunate. Basically, he called them, somebody else basically threw them away, and he brought them back in and basically took care of them. Now, the other thing I want to say about what Katt Williams said is that all the things that he talked about is things that Katt Williams normally does not talk about. The only reason he talked about them is because Shannon Sharpe asked him, okay? Mm-hmm. Like giving Melville Moore the star or the money that when he goes into a town, he says, I'm going to break them off about $10,000 for their homeless community. He said, if I just got 100,000, he said, how come I can't break them off 10 and get that? Great examples of, to me, what a black man should be doing.
Oh, wait a minute. That's not why. What's the number? 35 million?
37, 38.
That's not why 37 million people are watching that. They don't want to hear about that. So let's get to the nitty gritty. Why would 37 million people want to watch that particular interview?
Well, now okay. So we already know that there was some discussion about his relationships with Steve Harvey, Bernie Mac, Cedric the Entertainer, Kevin Hart, and maybe a few others, but those in particular. And he told his side of the story. One of the things he told Shannon Sharpe is that those individuals have been on his platform and have talked about him. And now he wanted to come in on the platform as well and give his perspective, his side of the story on the issues that he saw. And it kind of aligned to some of the concerns that other black entertainers have had concerning who really is in charge of their careers. He was saying that basically, he didn't say this exact words, that he basically was saying that those individuals have kissed the ring of the powers to be to be able to move forward in the organization, in the industry. What I liked about what he was saying, though, for himself, he did not want to sacrifice his values. So what he's done is basically he has financed all of his tours. He pays his accompanying comedians and comics well on these trips. And interesting, you don't hear anybody really saying, any of those comedians and comics that he helps have come back on saying anything contrary to what he said. So we just came out of the Kwanzaa season, and we talk about collective economics. And from what I'm seeing, from just what he was saying about raising these kids, how he has developed his own company, and he pays his comedians and comics well, that there's a lot of Kwanzaa principles just built in his own character.
I get back to that's not why 37 million viewers went in to look at him.
I agree.
Why? What is the reason? What did he do in that interview to get that kind of response? He attacked other people, right? We love to see that kind of thing.
Okay.
We love to see that kind of thing. He attacked.
But he got you to listen.
No, I listened because you guys wanted to do it. Let's make that clear. No way in the world I don't listen to that man talk about penises and things like that.
He didn't talk about
yes, he did. Yes, he did. I'm not gonna get. We're on YouTube. Okay, go back and watch it.
You can say it on YouTube.
No, I don't want to say it. Okay, I don't want to say it. Talking about
Kissing the ring.
no, didn't he talk about that one guy wanted to play Money Mike?
Oh yeah,
and he
Ricky
had
Smiley.
Ricky Smiley, and he even made some people come back. I missed that part of it, so I probably shouldn't say it unless I saw it. But something about he talked about Ricky Smiley's deceased son. In some way, he talked about his deceased son. He attacked Ricky Smiley, saying that he wanted to play Mighty Mike, but he had to play Money
Santa
Mike,
Claus.
but he had to play Santa Claus. Ricky Smiley says, well, that didn't bother me at all when they interviewed Ricky Smiley. But
Katt Williams.
Katt Williams made it sound like, oh, that really bothered Ricky Smiley, and there was some kind of conflict. He created that. He talked about somebody not having hair and wearing a wig. That was
Steve Harvey.
Steve Harvey. That's what got people's interest, not that he raises 6 adopted kids. So if we're going to do this, let's get right down to the nitty gritty.
Well, let's get down to the nitty gritty.
Okay,
What I'm saying is that when you look at what he did, and I'm not so sure Shannon Sharpe was aware of what was happening. This guy brought people into the fold to be able to look, and like you don't like, capitalism happened. And that was able to bring
I
in,
knew that was going to come.
that was able to bring a lot of people into the fold, and that's why those people looked. But after they began to look, it then gave people like Sharon and myself able to see some value that they wouldn't otherwise have looked at. So that's why it happened. The benefits of what happened to it, okay? You didn't get any benefit because the language, the presentation, and everything was beyond you.
Beyond me
Yes, beyond you.
or below me?
Below you.
But also I did look at a lot of the comments.
Creative lab.
I did look at a lot of the comments, and a lot of the comments was saying, yeah, we had heard about some of those issues, okay, but a lot of the comments were complimenting his person in terms of his social responsibility, and I thought that was real interesting because I was going through them just to see what folks were saying, and a lot of people said they were totally unaware that of what he does. The fact that I don't know if we want to use the word modest but he doesn't present to people with the
No.
money. He works through
These women. Yeah.
to do a lot of the stuff for him.
Did you see that part, Fred?
No.
He said, I'd rather have two women back there talking than two men. He said, even to lick my marijuana. He said, I got professional rollers. He said, they roll my marijuana. He said, and they only women. He said, because that's him. All he wants to see is women around him. But you ain't never heard no issues about him taking advantage of any kind of woman. Has anybody heard that of Katt Williams?
No, like I said, there's no way I would have watched it if you all hadn't insisted that we do it as hot topic. I didn't think it was up to our value on contemporary Black voices to do as a hot topic. But I did listen. I tried to listen. There's no way in the world I would listen to 2 hours in 16 minutes?
46 minutes.
20 of that nonsense. No way I'd listen to that.
Did you hear any comments from your wife or anybody else about the show?
No, I mean, just from the snippets that I caught. So I'm probably like most people. I wasn't aware of all the things that he had done.
The humanitarian.
And yeah, so I was surprised. I was pleasantly surprised to hear that because a lot of times when we see Katt, we see him on the stage, we see him as a comedian, and so everybody's aware of his some of the issues that he's gone through in the past, and so we all view him in a certain light. So I'm glad that everyone had the opportunity to view him in a different light. He got to tell his story. A lot of times people don't get to tell their story, and so I'm glad that he had the opportunity to do that. So.
One of the things that was really interesting. Now, I think a lot of people know that Dave Chappelle turned down $50 million on Netflix, Comedy Central, and went on to Africa for a while because he did not want to, whatever they were asking him to do, he did not agree to the conditions of the contract. Katt Williams says he's turned down $50 million 4 times because he refused to compromise his value system. And one of them is something that my son and I discuss a lot. He says he will not put on a dress if it means putting on that dress is the means for him to move up to the next level, whatever the next level is. He said he can't do that. And of course, my son said, I don't understand why these brothers put on a dress.
Well, yeah, he did say, and he criticized Ricky Smiley? He criticized for putting on the dress. Yeah.
I think they showed a whole list of actors and who had taken that path to achieve success. So
Martin, because
a lot of them.
He said he almost died.
He said he promised Martin that he would be in Martin's next movie. He said he went to Martin's house and Martin was getting ready to do Big Mama's house or whatever. He said, I ain't doing that.
So let me ask the capitalist, somebody offered you $50 million to put out a dress, what would you do?
I'm like Prince.
So is that a yes or a no?
Did he say that, did he say he reads 3,000 books?
Yes, he did.
Give me a break.
I said that as well.
Give me a break.
I said that as well.
That he read 3,000
3,000 books
Oh,
a
yeah.
year.
a year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He said
That's
that.
a lot of books a year.
That's 8,000 books a day or something like that, or 800 books a day. I broke it down because I said it on a
3,000
blog,
books.
and I said, I said that's impossible to do. And somebody came back to me and said, "Oh, they criticized me for saying that." And I said, to me, that's just like somebody coming to me talking about, well, the Bible says to do this, that, and the other. I said it may not be a direct of what I should do. It may be a example of something that was made up that I should do. And I said that's the same way that I think that he talked about with all of those books that he read.
That's a lot of books.
That's a lot of books.
That's impossible.
Yeah, a year. Even
year.
3,000 a year. What is it? I'm stuck in math.
It depends on,
What is it?
on how many pages
In the
were
book.
involved.
Yeah.
You
We read
know,
3,000.
was he
Don't make a
listening?
difference.
Was he listening to 3,000 books?
That's still, That's a,
Yeah, don't make a difference of
that's
how
a-
you going, even if the pages was only 2 pages in a book, okay? That's still a lot of books to be reading
That's a
on
lot
a
of
daily
books.
basis.
So then it makes you wonder how much more of that interview was exaggerated. How much more was?
Well, you got to think about it too. Now they were both drinking cognac on the set.
That's
and
true.
he was drinking that cognac, probably taking a couple of hits periodically, offset. So, but I think that the reason why, to your point, that the 38 million views came in is because it was a gossip fest,
That's what it was. A gossip. That's
a
all it
gossip
was,
fest with some surprises.
It was,
And the humanitarian stories were definitely surprises. And it caused me to look at him a whole lot different. Now, I like Katt Williams, okay? I like Katt Williams. He could tell a good joke, and then it also brings up the story. It brings up the question is comedians who write their jokes, who write those jokes versus comedians who have a team of people writing for them.
Right.
Should we see them equally?
there's another one. He reads 3,000 books. He writes his jokes. He must never sleep. He must never sleep.
Well, he's already said that that a comedian's life is a little bit different, because they stay up. They may have a show at midnight.
Then he has shows
Hey,
too.
right. And he said he smokes the reefer sometimes to go to sleep and to eat.
And then he smokes reefer.
He said that Snoop Dogg gave him some reefer. He said he was up all night. He said that wasn't the reefer he wanted. He said, don't lace mine with nothing.
With something else.
Yeah, he said I need to go to sleep and to eat.
Okay. Before we close out, I want to ask each one of you, what value do we get out of that interview?
To me, I think we need to re-examine ourselves in terms of how we help one another. Are we really helping one another as we say we are? Again, this is a man who has adopted, 6 kids. And during one of our earlier shows last year, we talked about Black people not adopting kids. So this is a single man adopting kids. And then are we actually bringing up people behind us with no strings attached?
Okay. Chris, you want to go to what value?
Value for me is just, hey, I love Black people, okay? And the salation of what he was saying or whatever, that didn't bother me as much. I know I'm not thinking he read 3,000 books or anything like that, but to hear my brother just talk and to see them like they were at my house, sitting on the couch, drinking some cognac, okay, and telling catfish stories. Okay.
It means like it's like you were sitting in a barber shop.
Right. I loved it. Okay. It didn't make a difference what they were saying. It was who was saying it, how they were saying it, and it was my people, and I felt good about it. I didn't have to believe any of it.
Caleb,
I mean, the value I got from it was, I'm just happy that the brother got to tell his own story, and I'm happy. The other value I got from it is that we were able to learn things about the brother that we didn't know, and so it just go. You can't judge anybody by what you think you know about him.
Right.
There was some really good things that we were able to learn about him. So, and again, that's probably my biggest takeaway is just, you really can't
Judge a book
judge
by its
folks.
cover.
Yeah, you really can't judge a book. And this is coming from me with these here. What I mean? You can't. So that's what I took away from it.
okay. Well, I'm not going to try to say any value. I just hope in September, October, and November, all 38 million of viewers also watch the presidential debate. Also follow what's happening politically, because that is much more important than Katt Williams talking about oral sex and who's bad and who's good. So that's my feeling about it. So with that said, I guess
wait a minute.
Go ahead.
Those of you in San Antonio and surrounding areas, make sure you cover those pipes today,
Okay.
because we're going to be in, I think, 3 days of freeze.
Right. Okay. And with that said, remember, get your copy of Black Life Texas, a special edition on Dr. Martin Luther King, before they're all gone. And you can get them at gyms and at HEB. With that said, Contemporary Black Voices is going to close out now with our usual telling our story our way.
Go Browns.
Okay.
All right.